Rightio, the mould I'm using is a Lyman mould. It's the 457-658 Schmitzer. Casts about a 480 grain projectile out of Lyman number 2. And as you can see, I've got a good 120 odd there that I've done in the last hour and a bit. If you read some of the books, they'll tell you that the most important part of the projectile is the base, and that's the bit that I focus on heavily to try and get a good repetition on the base. These aren't too bad. Being a slightly harder lead, they do shear. If I was using the Lyman, the 20-to-1 lead to tin mix, they do get a much better base. But unfortunately, the 20-to-1 doesn't shoot well through my gun. The bases of the projectiles are pretty good. I won't say they're perfect, not by a long shot, but they are not bad indeed. Rightio, so I've got the my Mini Pro scales out, and I'm going to weigh the projectiles as I've cast them. So you'll see the difference between the first cast and the last cast. Rightio, 482.5 is the first bullet I cast, and the last one I cast, it's a bit warm still. 483.85. So you can see there's a bit of a variation, slight variation between the start and the end. But given that I did stop for quite a while to set the camera up for you guys, I'll go to about the 100th, so 482.85. Scales are just warming up still, so I'm rushing things a bit. 483.25. 483.225, so it's the same as the last one. And that's what I'll do. I'll set up a bit of a bell curve, and I'll weigh all these out, and I'll get 100 of the closest, like I said, plus or minus that 1 grain, and I will use those as my batch. Righto, this is the last phase. So I've drawn up my weighted table. As you can see, I just do sticky tape for the large numbers because they change with each batch of bullets. But I've got a row of numbers, 0 through to 9, and then I weigh all my projectiles and I place them out underneath the weight. So as you can see, the majority has come out under 482.5, plus or minus a half a grain will give me almost exactly what I want, which is about 100. And yeah, didn't form a perfect bell curve, but not far off it. There was a couple of bullets there at the extreme ends, so 483.8, and a couple right down the end here at 481. So I can only assess that they had some inclusions inside them, little air bubbles that made them too light. How they get to be too heavy, don't ask me. That's better than I am. Anyway, that's what I've got.